Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is, oh, for crap's sake, Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday,
The 28th.
and it's the 28th. Yeah, the 28th, March the 28th of 2018, and I'm with BZ Rieger and Lisa Flamino Rush. And now you were just before we had to close that other window down and come back. You were saying something about because we were talking about. You said something about I was saying that I I feel like I've been laid flat. You were saying that there's a lot of folks at your work that were feeling that way too. And then you said something to the effect that this is not even that portion. And I'm thinking to myself, holy crap. I'm so tired right now. I can hardly sit here. So, wow. Okay.
So this, this could very well be the leading edge of it, and you may be sensitive and feel it, but I don't even think that that's it. I think this is just, every, think of kind of, you keep wanting to think of circular or cyclical. Well, okay, so now I'll confirm that that's a possibility, but probably in a 12 or 16-hour thing. So that's your circle, that's your cyclical, that's all you get. And then every 12 to 16 hours, you're moving up with the expansive energies.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Just continuously. But this isn't the leading edge. I don't feel that this is the leading edge of, I think that's just that. I don't feel this is the leading edge of the big waves coming in.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, let me rephrase it. What was here the last couple of days, I don't think is that we now may be getting into the leading edge of it. But
well, see, I've had a lot of I've been doing a lot of introspection and a lot of sitting with myself and asking myself questions and things like that about what I've experienced, what I'm continuing to experience, all of those sorts of things. And I had started to come to the conclusion that this event thing was all going to be self-generated anyway.
yes. Well, and self and collectively.
Okay. Because I was, some of the experiences I've had, I can only equate to because of what I've experienced and how I've experienced it, knowing that it's began within me.
Yeah, well, it's tailored. It's safe to say that it's tailor-made for each one of us, and we may not want to agree with that as it's flowing through, but nonetheless, it's well, let's go back to the basics, right? Everything's one, and because it's all it, he, she, it all comes from source, and then there's individuated, sovereign parts, whatever, there's lots of different ways you could phrase it, right? That's all get, and the factualized part is all of your higher selves, all of your sparks of light. There's lots of ways that people refer to it. So the sparks of light that were you, that came from a whiteboard would be good. Hang on.
I have to get you one.
I was going to say, it just so happens Zoom comes equipped.
I know. Let me see.
With whiteboard.
Can you? Can I share? Do you let me share the screen, or do I share the screen?
Well, you can share the screen. You
Okay.
should be able to have that ability.
Okay, let's see that.
And
so
then,
let's see if I can do this right. So on draw. This is okay. So Yeah, this may not work because it's not. Okay. So I have green for some reason, but anyways, this is what you got. I've never used this before. Okay, so this is the radiating spark of source over here. All it is.
Okay.
And I should probably do this. So bazillions of these lines came out, right? So imagine this, times bazillions, right?
Right.
So each one of these is an individuated soul, okay?
Right.
And each soul then set out sparks of life force essence that is from this soul, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just going to pick one. So this one may be Sheila. And then we're going to go over here. Okay, and this one maybe Lisa. Okay, right?
Okay.
So all of these other ones here
Yes.
are all Sheila's, part of Sheila's soul.
Okay.
So all those, you keep referring to it as fragments. So that would be a good, right? But you before you even are a soul fragment or source fragment, you're a soul fragment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So these would be, you could language these as part of your higher selves. So they're all coming into this one here because that's where it chose to do. And every time, to make it even more complicated, remember how we're going to do Lisa over here. So Lisa, and I'm going to see if I can change the color. Okay. So Lisa had a dream, I think you said it was, Lisa, in a video we did a while ago, where you were talking to you, who is married to your same husband and had your same daughter. Is that correct?
I was me, and I was just like, I woke up in that body living that life.
Okay, so you actually did. It wasn't a dream. So when you make, I don't know how to explain this in a simple way, but I'm just going to play with it. So this is Lisa going about, things, and you come to choice points, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it could be marriage, so get married or not get married. So
right.
Let's say this is we'll make this the M, right? So get married or not get married.
Right.
Okay. So at that choice point, your soul, remember, because you're up here. I don't know if you can see my crayon here, but you're your soul, and then you fragmented down this part. And then you came to a choice of marriage or not marriage. So let's say this is, I'm going to make it Lisa here too. And do you remember what this other being's name was?
No.
Okay. So, but because, so I'm going to stop that for a minute. How do I stop that?
Okay.
How do you, stop. Okay. All right. So, so that's complicated enough. So, remember the trajectory out, right? Source wanted to know source and created all of these, I don't even know the word, but bazillion's kind of good because it's bigger than whatever.
Yeah.
It's wholly inaccurate, but just go with it.
Okay.
And all of those souls went out. So we had the diagram of Sheila, and so Sheila's soul and Lisa's soul, and then there's many sparks of essence of the stuff that makes you, right? A lot of people have stated if they see someone die, they'll see that swirling sphere, of light come out at the, in a hospice situation or something like that. Well, that's your life spark. That's the essence of you, the energy part. And then the suit just, stays. So all of that comes down because if source is going to know source, even with a bazillion souls, so we'll take that as the big pipe of energy coming in, that's still not a lot. I mean, because this is infinity and all. So, like experiencing everything. So from every form and stage of something that's organic, rock, tree, flower, animal, all of that, to, so on this planet and on other planets and this dimension and other dimensions and this frequency, and right? So every energy soul that comes down then does the same kind of thing. First of all, as you can attest by how you're feeling lately, that the whole conduit, so the whole energy pipe of what is your soul before all the change you're making could not be housed in just a plain old regular 3D body, which is why,
right.
One of the reasons. But again, every time you make a choice point, then those are other timelines, so other realities that branch off for more experience. Because we're really not just a person that is born and, goes to work and hates their job or loves their job or whatever it is and dies and then is worm food.
No, that's true. I've got that nuance.
It's just not. It just couldn't be further from the truth. And news bulletin, we're not alone in this galaxy or any other galaxy. So, in fact, if we just realize the depth of all of the beings that are with us right here on this planet.
I was going to say, more than likely in the very room you are sitting in this moment of now.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So just trying to keep it simple.
Alrighty then.
I really do have a feel for why I feel so exhausted, actually.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm just surprised by it, I guess, because I didn't expect it.
Well, your body is, here's another thing. Most people don't appreciate their body at all. It's too fat, it's too thin, it's too weak, it's too strong, it's too this, it's too that. It's, hair color's not right, the boobs aren't right, whatever, right? But our bodies are amazing vehicles. They always were. But now they're really dramatically changing so that the fine-tuningness and the expansiveness and the morphingness that's occurring makes them even more magical, and we're not even where we're going with that whole transformation. And let's move back in time to before 2012, just as an example. So before 2012, however you had been long you'd been on this planet in this particular embodiment, you were not using probably not even 90% of what your natural body ability had been intended to be. And you weren't in the life, if you were on planet Earth, you weren't in the life before that and before that for a bunch of, because of the tinkering around, because of the things that had been done to keep the brain capacity at, how many times in school, even, grade school, they teach you that you only use less than 10% of the brain. Well, that isn't because you're a lazy kid and you decide not to use the rest of your brain. It's because it's been engineered in that way from tinkering, from Anunnaki and all various manipulations and devices and designs all the way down. There's many people who talk about this in lots of different ways. William Tompkins, when he was still alive, he was had done some stuff. He worked in the Navy, but there was one conversation I listened to, and he was talking about how a lot of people, a lot of higher ups within the programs that he was working in, would take a lot of the. He described it as kind of. I think it was kind of shots, but not your normal, shot in the arm. Anyways, and it would reverse some of what had been done to all of us. And, he said, and that was just a very tiny, simplistic description because he was actually talking about something else. But that really caught my ear. And so in other words, this has been ongoing. It's not just in, since the 30s or 40s with the war and all that kind of stuff. It has to do with way before that. But anyway, so that's kind of all an aside that people can go look up if they choose. But right now, so from 2012 before, you weren't, because of all those various reasons, you weren't using much of any of your capabilities, everybody. And I just mean not even in what someone might term powers or super things, just the pure function of this amazing structure. And because it's more than, I think there isn't really any language, but it's more than just a body, because the human body is in large measure charged word and has an awful lot of connotations. The body gets old, the body gets diseased. Okay, well, a lot of that again is because of the manipulation. A lot of that is, like everything else, because we're wholly complicit in that, because that comes, it's self-generated. And some people will say, well, you're nuts, because, well, no, but it is. And you could look at Dolores Cannon as an example, lots of other people who do deep healing from a level that comes from your higher mind, through, whether it's through hypnosis or other different things. There's a pioneer in I think it's Australia, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he'll talk about how they do work with something like that. Lisa gave an example of this other Lisa, who was the same husband, and how they can go and they can put you in and specifically have you go talk to and have a conversation with your choice point. We'll just call it a choice point timeline other self.
Right.
I just made that up. I have no idea if that's accurate enough, but that's a good.
I love it.
And so that and in doing that, they can in large measure, right, this because of the moments that we're in, they can hold each other, heal each other, because something will change in that timeline thing, and will have a direct effect. Why? Because you're not only are we all one, but you're all one. Right? Because remember back to the drawing of that thing. So I'm not sure why that popped in my head. I wasn't even thinking about that, but and I don't even remember what the question was. But as far as being tired, so let's go back to that. That wasn't the question. It was another one. But you mentioned being tired. So your body, that's why I got off on the body thing, because your body is completely changing. So
I had that just before we met this evening here. I was telling Lisa a few minutes ago. a bit of a visionary experience again with this time where I feel like the molecules of my DNA were, you know, how you've described the men in work trucks have come up and erected barriers and now they're working on, you know, they got the jackhammer. Well, this was very, very similar. Only what I saw was like it, it looked for all the world like little molecules, little morphing puffs of plasma like, and they were teeny tiny and they were just doing different things, and I was having physical sensations in my body while I'm watching this from a different vantage point is all I can describe that as. So I'm just laying there going, oh, okay, that's interesting. What is going on here? What the F is that in my body? Of why am I you know, because you don't want to go there. But it was very interesting, and I'm just, you know, that just happened right before, a little earlier this evening. So I get that. I get what you're saying. Now, obviously, that is the case because
you can play with it. What you just described, it was a beautiful description, but you can play with it. Or at least I've played with it. I mean, I play with everything, but you know, if I'm noticing, if I'm really tuning in and noticing, I would describe it as different colors. So they have different energies because they're different vibrational frequencies, because they're different cells that relate to different things. They're different cells that may have more cleaning, you know, to do. There may be different things. And I remember one time, just the other day, I was doing that. I forgot. Oh, I stopped because there was this tree was calling me over. So I'm just staying there kind of being with this tree, having this conversation, and Keegan's running around, and it was like I was playing with some music of the spheres that was coming in at the same time, and I could see lights flashing within, you know, me. But I started to, actually first I started to see it in the tree. Looking at the bark went from the bark, you know, which you could have kind of ridges on it, and then I could see below the bark, and I could see the sap, and you know, because I was thinking that it's the time of year and things are, you know, but then I could actually, so I wasn't just thinking about it or imagining, I could actually see it, and I thought, well, wow, that tree's doing the same kind of thing that we're doing. Well, and then I thought, duh, that makes sense because the whole planet is ascending, evolving. So yeah, kind of slow much, right? So then I looked at my arm and my body, and I noticed that inside, same thing, I went right in past the different layers and could see them. And so I don't know why I started on that, but I said, well, wonder if they can, you know, like Fantasia, they can dance to a symphony. And so they all did these different things, doing whatever it was in the various groupings and areas and stuff that they were doing in a orchestrated syncopation of, and it feels really cool when I talk about it, of whatever it was that they were doing. So,
oh, that's awesome.
But that's one of the reasons that we're so tired, is that all of that is changing. The tiredness is you know, getting on board the sleepy train to let go of and integrate a lot of stuff that needs to come out. You know, the bucket metaphor and all that stuff needs to come out. And then the energizing, so you'll go through periods where you'll, and it may be, depending on, you know, what's going on at that moment, it may be lots of moments, so hours, days, whatever, of tired, sleep. And then it'll ease off, or all of a sudden you'll have lots of energy. You won't sleep. So at night you'll be, you know, in the middle of the night, you're thinking, okay, slept for just days now, and now I don't need to sleep at all. But again, that's another part that's, rearranging. And this is where that commitment comes in, and working it around everything else that, letting go of a lot of stuff, wholesale letting go of a lot of stuff in your life that, that what we thought was important. And and then keeping the very bare minimum that you absolutely think you have to in some way. And then focusing on this, because this changes everything. It changes all. And it's far more important, even if you have just a tiny sliver of an inkling of what that possibility could be, than anything that you could be doing in the, real linear world, however you describe it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I actually had
and I'll just add, the bonus is that everybody's feeling this. So wherever you work, whatever you're doing, whatever level, the others are, they're like, yeah, you just, do the best you can, because they're thinking, where can I go behind my desk, or go take a long bathroom break or coffee break, because so it's wholesale across the entire, well, more than the entire planet, but we'll just stick with the entire planet for right now. So it's not like, everybody else is thinking, you're being a lazy bum and they're raring to go because they don't want to do anything either. So if they just think they have the flu or it's so fascinating to hear that through that, oh, so-and-so got hit with that thing, that's just like a stomach thing. I said, yeah, that thing will do it to you every time. And then, of course, oftentimes you look at me and go, why don't you have that thing? I said, well, I haven't had that thing in years, because I had that thing. Which really isn't accurate, but at least for that level of what they're talking about, it is accurate. So.
Well, so then to hear you just say it a few minutes ago, that might be the leading edge, because see, for all the world, I was starting to think, oh, I'm experiencing the first event horizon, and I'm okay. This is I can understand why I'm so tired, and some of the experiences I've had, I feel like, oh, okay, now I'm really getting to I'm coming to some pretty cool conclusions about a few things, and but so no, huh? No, not yet. Okay.
Okay.
I would just like to say, Lisa and I discussed this too before we actually started recording, and I'd like to say that I in no way, shape, or form am not saying that I am not putting my hand up to say I'm all in. I'm all in. My hand is up. I don't even know what I'm still saying I'm all in for, but I'm all in. Nobody ever once said I was going to show up and be bright, chipper, and looking good and camera ready all the time, because let me just say this, no. In this moment of right now, I have been very, very tired, and it shows. And I want everyone who has, by the way, I'm going to just take this opportunity to say, every viewer that has sent me an email asking me if I'm okay, yes, I am okay. I am not ill. I feel quite tired, and I feel quite different, but I'm not ill. I'm not in the way you might think. I'm still throwing my hand up and saying I'm all in. I'm just not. I'm not doing it in the high heels and the lipstick today.
Right. Sometimes it's just over the top of the coffee table. It's a little bit, I'm here. I'm still living.
Yeah, it's like this. I'm all in still. I'm still all in. Don't count me out. So just some days I feel like I want to make sure that I've hitched my wagon to the back of somebody else that doesn't mind me kind of coasting along behind because I'm still in. I'm in.
Right.
You got this.
Well, we all do, and that's the thing of just rolling with it and letting go. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go of what? Of everything. Probably one of the best ways to do it is let go of everything and then pick, aside from your 100% commitment, doing whatever it takes on every level layer to be committed to this, and then pick maybe one, go whole hog, and two other things maybe, and let everything else go. Yeah. And you'll shift and change. So depending on where you are and where your expansion is and how much you already gone through, it's not about hierarchy. It's not about greater than, less. It's not that's all just ego, mind, mental bullshit. So if that's what's chattering, if people, great, have at it, but you'll be surprised of just how much you've got in that going on, because when it, starts tube of toothpasting and over the bucket flowing, you'll know that maybe let it go. But so anyways, different beings are just on different places on the path, right? And so some have experienced some things already, and have more to go because we're infinite beings. So that's how long the path is. It's infinite. So, and there's also another reason there why there were many beings who did a lot of this, have already done a lot of this, because they were, way showers, they were path pavers, they were changing and shifting the energy so that they can, give you a hug or a smile or a laugh and say, yeah. Now that doesn't mean, that they're not going through different things. When other waves come and other energies come, that's not the case at all. It's just different because they're in different, So it's happening to all. It's happening in all different ways. And but if you can let things go and stop worrying, because all of that really is an illusion. And when you have some of the things that Lisa and Sheila have shared, about, well, just go back a video or two, and Lisa's like, woo! The stuff we could see and feel, what is within, behind the just the outer body of Lisa, we'd be going woo too, So that's the reality, and we're now bringing it out. All this other stuff, the job and the this and the that, it's all an illusion, and it's crumbling down very, very, very fast. That's part of the reason of discomfort and everything else. So it really is all good. It's all actually fantabulous. And cut yourself, more than cut yourself a break, and give yourself big hugs, and only hang out with beings, situations, frequencies, whatever you way that support that path and where you are on that path for you. Because you don't have to think about it at all. You'll feel, and you guys have given voice to this a lot, you'll feel if going someplace or being somewhere, or being connected in connection with somebody else or whatever it is, you'll know really quickly, is that painful, is it not? Even if you don't realize that you've gone down in your energy frequency, when you're there for a bit, you'll notice that if for no other reason than that, places that you used to go and hang out that were of a more expanded frequency, you can't go there anymore. So one, you'll notice that you just don't come into contact with those other beings who were there, or the contact is much, much less at all because your frequency is lower down and it's too painful for them, so they won't want to hang with it. Or you simply can't be there for long periods of time because it's too painful for you because you have dropped down. So, and kind of the linear, logical, kind of segmented, Stoic comes to mind, I'm not sure why, but perspective or kind of view of the world, you can see it changing right in front of your eyes, where in things that were once easy lies, easy distractions, easy manipulations, easy, pull the wool over your eyes, aren't working anymore, and it looks like such a crude, seriously, kind of a thing, or the lie reveals itself like mid-sentence, or things that were one way, so a good example is North Korea and the reunification. And so, yeah, okay, all of a sudden, magically, after, okay, they went to the Olympics and that was cool and kumbaya. Well, yeah, or you could look a little deeper and realize that the puppets that were pulling the strings behind the big puppet that's, this little guy put up as, the big bad evil guy in North Korea, have left the building run screaming. So again, that's just an example of many, many hundreds, and that's just a tiny example of what's happening. And so if you look at things and start to notice with all of you, you'll see that. But it's all falling down, and it's all an illusion.
Well, yeah, I'm in agreement. Now I would like to like for it to finish falling down now. I'm tired. I'd like to go to bed. and yeah.
We'll do that. Sleep when you need to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
And like, for people who say, well, I've got to work then. Well, like I said, if you get, a coffee break, 10 minutes, well, then take the 10 minutes and sleep, or lunch break, or, go for longer times. Don't turn on the TV when you get home. Go stretch out and take a nap. There's lots of different ways that you can work, and sometimes you're just going to have to either have a go slow day or have a sick day, or whatever it is in your work situation to make a more comfortable flow through it. Because whether you believe in it or not, or understand it or not, it's happening. That's not something that's up for,
Well, I'd like to say here too that I have finally started. I've always heard Lisa. It's just I've never actually started doing any of what Lisa was sharing.
That's okay.
until now. I have to say that the communicating with my body has changed a lot. I mean, has helped a lot. And so I don't know. We were just saying to those that might have to work or whatever, so I've begun to just thank my body on an all the time basis, because I've been rather abusive to this body over the 56 years that I've owned it or shared it, we say. And I've been rather abusive and cruel to it, and still am sometimes. And so just communicating with it, and in an out loud fashion too, by the way.
Yeah, you give voice to it.
Because of everything that I was trying to prove to myself about water and why I was, getting healthy and stuff. I know that we are made up mostly of water, and I know that water reacts to sound, and because that's the way it is. That's what all energy is frequency and sound and all of that. So it has helped, and just being very grateful to my body, but I am also practicing extreme self-care in this.
Yeah.
In this right now too.
And remember how I've mentioned times before where I am now on my part of the path, and what I go through, there are kind of tips and things that I've come up with where I can do what I have to do, the linear, quote unquote, or maybe if it's more work like this, where there are different times when I had to go get something done. It didn't matter if it was 3 o'clock in the morning and whatever. And, I had to do something that related to Heather would be one example. There were other examples where I had to do, it wasn't a choice, and that was a commitment, and that was a level. I mean, I could let everything else go. I could then call into the job and say, I can't come in today because I'm X, Y, and Z. I had no problem doing that, and skipping the money and all that kind of stuff for the things I supposedly had to have, all that kind of stuff, but there were certain things I had to choose from. But what I was going to say is there are times when, like I mentioned, the sleepy train would come, and I'd be driving, and I said, look, I can't have you come take me on the sleepy train right now because I'm going down the highway at 65 miles an hour, and it won't work out well for anybody involved. So here's the deal. And I could look and say, there is, a place I can pull off. Give me 10 minutes to get there. I will set my clock, and I will absolutely turn the car off and just close my eyes and sleepy train for 20 minutes, absolutely. So those were the ways that I could do it, and it worked pretty well. But I can tell you, there were a couple times where I thought, well, there's nobody looking, right? Nobody knows that if I cheat, the I'm going to stop here and pull over in 20 minutes. Try it if you like. From my own direct experience of knowing, don't. Because it works on a lot of things. We've talked about the proving and the testing and all that kind of stuff, which is not you testing your soul, but it's the other way around. And so there is a trust factor, and there's a lot of wondrous things that are unfolding and that are given back to us, to the us down, in this body. And if we mess with that trust, if we mess with giving our word and coming from, that's not of love. It's not, it's not of any of those things. And so it's not that that there's punishment given. Remember, has nothing to do. That's all ego, lower mind bullshit. What it is you're now playing in a different frequency, vibration neighborhood when you do that stuff. And not such nice things live, reside, occur, unfold in those neighborhoods. And so there seems to be a more magnetic zap, zip, boom, ba effect. Should you want to play with those things, ask me how I know.
That's right. I like to say it's not so much a punitive, it's not punishment. It's merely a consequence of the frequency. But it's not a punishment for holding a certain frequency. But you punish sort of by the frequency that you hold there.
Well, yeah, because it's a free will choice. I mean, I absolutely had a free will choice to say, okay, well, no one will notice. And you know, it took me, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times to go, I don't really care if anybody notices, but I'm not doing that again, you know. So.
I gotcha. Well, we're really only cheating ourselves when we do that kind of thing anyway, so.
Yeah, and you can't ever get away with it because, you know, it's all transparent. It's all right there. And
I was going to say, because, well, you know, wherever I go, there I am. So far in everything I've done, in all my experiences, wherever I go, there I am. So there's no getting away from that. Well.
So I'm not sure if this was helpful. I know we started with one question, and I'm not even sure if we answered that question, but I don't even remember what the question was. So.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure either. And because I'm so tired, I don't really keep up that well. I'm not following. You know, usually I can follow along and bring things back around if we got off track, but no cigar this go. Nope, ladies and gentlemen, okay. If there was a question in there and we didn't answer it, well, sorry. Next time. Next time, maybe we'll look out and stay on topic. I don't know. Because I don't even.
We didn't have a topic, so we did that. We stayed on topic. We had no topic, so.
That's right. We stayed on topic there. Well, quite frankly, I never really worry about that with any of these. That's the whole reason that's the whole reason they're called conversations.
Yeah, well, we do that. We manage to do that every time. So
yeah, there's never any shortage of one of us having a conversation with all the rest of us. Ever.
See, you know, the conversation's kind of like all the usual stuff's in the usual place, but the conversation's in the usual place before the usual stuff in the usual place. And we got it all covered.
Yes, that's true.
And we do it with love.
Which is nice.
Yes. So I would like to close this energetic envelope here.
Cool.
And so, yes, all the usual stuff in all the usual places. You can find everybody's information in the body of this video. That's how I'm going to do that now. And you can find my information in there too. And I do want to say again, thank you to everyone who has reached out. It's not like there's a great group of people who have reached out and said, Sheila, you're just not looking well. But there's been one or two, and I want you to know